Well, hello and welcome. In this video we're going to continue to explore the South Wales coast, but in particular the site of Wales's worst maritime disaster, the wreck of the SS Samtampa and the loss of the Mumbles Lifeboat in its heroic rescue attempt. So, as we walk west from Porthcawl along Rest Bay towards the site of the wreck at Sker Point, especially on a calm day like today with flat seas and a blue sky, it's hard to imagine how dangerous this stretch of coast can be. So at the end of the video, I will be showing you how to find the site of the wreck. It is quite difficult to find, but I'll be showing you some key features which will help you locate it. The Samtampa was en route from Middlesbrough in the north of England to Newport on the South Wales coast when, on the 23rd of April 1947, it encountered a severe storm in the Bristol Channel. The Samtampa was a 7,200-ton Liberty ship. These were ships mass-produced in the US during the war, and many were used in the Atlantic convoys. To make them quickly, the ships were made out of prefabricated sections welded together. Unfortunately, this construction would later play a major part in the ship's fate. Well, during the afternoon of the 23rd of April, the ship tried to seek shelter close to the North Devon coast, but at around 3 o'clock, she sent a message that she was drifting across the channel towards the Welsh coastline. It tried to put down the anchors, but one chain broke and then it dragged the other one, and around 5:08 p.m. the Samtampa sent an SOS stating she was running aground. At this point the Mumbles Lifeboat was launched, the Edward Prince of Wales. The Mumbles Lifeboat station is about 12 miles away from Sker Point across Swansea Bay. The conditions were so bad and the ship was already aground, the chances of a successful rescue was minimal, but the crew still went. The next day, as it grew light and the storm subsided, the upturned hull of the lifeboat Edward Prince of Wales was found on the shore of Sker Point. Sadly, the 39 crew of the SS Samtampa and the 8 volunteer crew of the Mumbles Lifeboat were all lost in the disaster. As mentioned, during the storm, the ship broke up into its 3 prefabricated parts along the weld lines. Also, during the wreck, fuel oil was spilt and a fine layer covered the entire area and was even found on the windows of some of the local houses. Instead of drowning, it was said that many of the sailors actually suffocated in the thick layer of oil which covered the sea. Just look at these rocks and these gullies. The ship didn't have a chance. And the sad thing, about 200 yards west and about 100 yards to the east, There's sandy beaches, and if the ship ran aground there, it probably would have been saved. So the 8 crew of the Mumbles Lifeboat were buried in Oystermouth Cemetery overlooking Swansea Bay. Most of the crew of the SS Samtampa were returned to their native Middlesbrough area, but 12 of the crew were buried locally in Porthcawl Cemetery, and I went to see that grave earlier today. Amongst the rocks you can find a commemorative plaque. This was laid where the upturned lifeboat was found, and in keeping with the tradition of the RNLI, the lifeboat was then burnt at this spot. A few days ago there was a particularly low tide, and I managed to get down to the rocks and found the wreckage of the old engine. So this is what I filmed. Let's take a look. Well, during the storm, the light bow and stern section of the ship broke apart, and they ended up on the rocks near the shore. But the heavier midsection containing the engine got stuck on the lower rocks, and you can still see the engine at low tide. If you do want to come and see it, you have to come on a particularly low tide, and you've got a window of only about an hour, so you have to time it right. Even on a calm day like today, the wind's picked up. So to find the plaque, walk along the coastal path until you get to Sker House. That'll be on your right, and then there's a small wall alongside the field. Keep following this wall until you get to a coastal path post, and the wall turns sharply right. Behind us you should see Sker House. So from the coastal path post, look out to sea, then turn 45 degrees. Then if you walk about 50 to 75 yards in this direction, you will come to the commemorative plaque that's in the rocks. It is quite hard to find, but you should be able to find it if you walk in this direction. So that was the true story of Wales's worst maritime disaster, the loss of the SS Samtampa and the Mumbles Lifeboat Edward, Prince of Wales. 39 crew of the ship were lost, as well as 8 of the lifeboat crew on the 23rd of April 1947. So join us again as we explore the South Wales coast. It won't be as dark as this. We do fun stuff as well. It's normally more fun when Mel comes along, but unfortunately she's not with me again today. She hasn't left me, we're still married. But anyway, join us again as we explore South Wales, and hopefully we'll be able to get out to the house and explore further afield soon. So we'll see you next time.